Princess Zarathik stood on the bridge of the massive warship Celestial Fang and felt the weight of her first real command. The ship stretched for miles in every direction, its metal hull gleaming under the light of 3 suns. Thousands of soldiers filled its corridors, and dozens of smaller ships flew alongside it like loyal pets. She was 25 years old and third in line to rule the great Veltar Empire. Her purple skin showed the royal markings that made everyone bow when she walked by. Her forearms moved with practiced grace as she reviewed the mission files on her personal screen. This patrol mission would prove she deserved to wear the crown someday. The crew around her looked impressive. The Sharpai officers had bodies made of living crystal that sparkled as they worked at their stations. Their minds could process battle data faster than any computer. The Corvan soldiers stood 8 feet tall with muscles like steel cables. They could tear through metal doors with their bare hands. The quick Nixara scouts moved like shadows, their 6 legs carrying them silently through the ship. All of these warriors had fought in dozens of battles. They had conquered planets and destroyed enemy fleets. They respected her royal blood, but she knew she had to earn their trust through victory. "Your Highness," said Commander Vextar, her second in command. His crystal body flashed blue as he spoke. "All departments report ready for departure. We should reach the Outer Rim territories in 6 standard days." Zarathik nodded. The mission seemed simple enough. Pirates had been attacking trade ships near the Empire's border. Her job was to find these criminals and destroy them. It would be good practice before she faced real enemies. "There is one more thing, Princess," Vextar said. His light turned a worried yellow. "Your tactical advisor has arrived?" "Good, send him to my ready room." She had requested the Empire's best military mind for this mission. "Actually, Your Highness, there might be a small problem." Zarathik turned to face him fully. "What kind of problem?" "The advisor they sent is ... human." She blinked all 4 of her eyes. "Human? What is a human?" Vextar's crystal body dimmed. "They come from a small planet called Earth. It's in the outer territories. They joined the Empire about 50 years ago. They mine metals and grow food for us. They sent me a farmer?" Zarathik's voice rose in anger. "I asked for a tactical genius and they gave me someone who digs in dirt. I believe it was a political decision, Your Highness. The humans provide useful resources. Perhaps the Empire wants to keep them happy." Zarathik felt her royal pride burning in her chest. This was clearly an insult. Someone in the Imperial Command wanted to make her mission harder. Maybe they hoped she would fail and embarrass herself. Well, she would show them. She would succeed despite having a useless advisor. "Fine," she said. "Send this human to me. Let's get this over with." 10 minutes later, her door opened. Zarathik looked up from her desk and tried not to show her disappointment. The human looked completely ordinary. He stood about 6 feet tall, which was average height. His skin was brown and smooth, without any interesting colors or patterns. He had only 2 arms and 2 legs, which seemed limiting. His hair was black and cut short. What surprised her most was how soft he looked. The other species in her crew had thick skin or armor or natural weapons. This human looked like she could break him with one hand. He wore a simple gray uniform and carried what looked like primitive metal weapons instead of proper energy guns. "Your Highness," the human said, bowing slightly. "I am Marcus Chun, your tactical advisor." His voice was calm and quiet. He didn't seem nervous or excited to meet royalty. His dark eyes looked directly at her without fear, which was unusual. Most people trembled when they first saw a member of the royal family. "Marcus Chun," she repeated. "And what exactly makes you qualified to advise a princess of the Veltar Empire?" "I have studied warfare for most of my life," he said simply. "I have experience with many different types of combat." "Combat?" She almost laughed. "What kind of combat could your people possibly know?" "You mine rocks and grow vegetables." Marcus didn't react to her mocking tone. "We do those things, yes. But humans have been fighting wars for a very long time." Zarathik decided to test him. "Tell me, what do you know about the Corvan battle formations?" The Corvan preferred direct assault tactics. Marcus said without hesitation. They rely on their strength and thick skin to overwhelm enemies. Their weakness is that they move slowly and have trouble adapting when their first plan fails. She raised an eyebrow. That was actually correct. And the HFY? Masters of information warfare. They can process battle data incredibly fast and coordinate complex attacks. But they struggle with unpredictable enemies who don't follow logical patterns. Also correct. Maybe this human had done some homework before coming here. I see you've read some basic military files, she said. That doesn't make you a tactical genius. No, Your Highness. It doesn't. His calm agreement annoyed her. She had expected him to argue or try to impress her. Instead, he just stood there waiting. Very well, she said. You can stay in one of the junior officer quarters. I'll find some simple tasks for you to handle. Don't interfere with real military operations. Understood. Marcus bowed again and left her office. Zarathik watched him go and shook her head. This was clearly a waste of time. She would handle the tactical decisions herself and let the human file reports or something equally harmless. She turned back to her mission files, already forgetting about her new advisor. She had no idea that she had just met the most dangerous predator in the galaxy. 5 days into their patrol, everything went wrong. Princess Zarathik was reviewing supply reports when the ship's alarm started screaming. Red lights flashed throughout the bridge as her crew jumped to their battle stations. She rushed to the main command chair, her heart pounding with excitement. Finally, some real action. Report! She shouted over the noise. Commander Vextar's crystal body flashed bright red with panic. Princess, we have multiple contacts emerging from the asteroid field. Large signatures moving fast. Pirates? She asked, settling into her chair. How many ships? No ships, Your Highness. Vextar's voice cracked with fear. These are biological readings. It's them? It's the Vorthak. The bridge went silent except for the alarms. Every crew member froze in terror. Zarathik felt ice in her veins. She had heard stories about the Vorthak her entire life. Every child in the galaxy knew the Tailies, the apex hunters. Living nightmares that drifted through space like ghosts. 12 feet tall with claws that could cut through starship armor. They could change their appearance to match any background, making them nearly invisible. Worst of all, they were smart. Not just animal smart, but truly intelligent. They hunted in packs and they never gave up. Entire fleets had disappeared when they encountered the Vorthak. Colonies had been wiped out overnight. The Empire's official policy was simple. If you see them, run. Don't fight. Don't try to be a hero. Just run as fast as possible and hope they don't follow. How many? Zarathik whispered. Sensors show at least 15 individual creatures, Vextar replied. His light was now blinking rapidly. They're spreading out around us? Classic hunting formation. On the main screen, the asteroid field seemed empty, but Zarathik knew the Vorthak were out there, invisible and circling like sharks. Her crew was falling apart. The mighty Corvin soldiers were backing away from their weapons. The HFY tactical officers were making high-pitched sounds of distress. Even the quick Nixara scouts had gone completely still. All ships, full retreat, she ordered. Maximum speed away from the asteroid field. But it was too late. The space around them suddenly filled with massive shapes. The Vorthak dropped their camouflage and revealed themselves. They looked like someone's worst nightmare brought to life. Their bodies were dark gray with patches of different colors that shifted like oil on water. Long arms ended in claws the size of swords. Their faces had too many teeth and eyes that glowed like hot coals. They moved through space without ships or suits, somehow surviving in the vacuum. Their 6 legs pushed them through the void like swimmers moving through water. And they were fast. Much faster than the Celestial Fang could ever be. They're blocking our escape routes? Vextar reported. His voice sounded broken. We're surrounded. Princess Zarathik looked around her bridge and saw defeat in every face. Her crew was ready to surrender or die. These were hardened warriors who had conquered planets, but they were helpless against the galaxy's ultimate predators. Then she noticed something strange. In the corner of the bridge, Marcus Chun stood calmly at a small terminal. He was the only person who didn't look terrified. His dark eyes were studying the main screen with the same quiet attention he gave everything else. "Human," she called out. "Do you understand what's happening here?" Marcus looked up from his screen. "Yes, Your Highness. We're being hunted by a pack of Vorthak." "And that doesn't scare you?" "Fear interferes with thinking," he said simply. "Right now, thinking is more important." Zarathik almost laughed. This soft little human thought he could outthink the apex hunters? But looking around at her panicked crew, she realized she didn't have many options. "Vexstar," she said. "Give tactical command to Marcus." Her second-in-command spun around so fast his crystal body made grinding sounds. "Your Highness, with respect, that's not advisable. He has no experience with—" "He's the only one here who isn't falling apart," she snapped. "Marcus, you have tactical command. Try to buy us time to escape." Marcus nodded and moved to the central command station. His fingers moved over the controls with surprising skill. The main screen changed to show a detailed view of the surrounding space. "All weapon stations, report readiness," he said in his quiet voice. "Sir?" came shaky replies from around the bridge. The crew was so shocked by his calmness that they started following his orders without thinking. Marcus studied the display for exactly 30 seconds. Zarathik could see his eyes tracking the Vorthak positions, noting their movement patterns. What was he looking for? The creatures were clearly moving in for the kill. "Helm," Marcus said. "New course. Mark 271 by 46? "Sir, that takes us deeper into the asteroid field," the pilot replied. "Correct. Execute immediately." The ship lurched as it changed direction. On the screen, the Vorthak pack reacted instantly, shifting their formation to cut off this new path. They moved like a living thing, each creature perfectly coordinated with the others, but Marcus was already giving his next order. "Port weapons, fire spread pattern alpha into Sector 4. Starboard weapons, continuous fire into Sector 7. Navigation, prepare for emergency stop in 15 seconds. "Sir, there are no targets in those sectors," the weapons officer said. "Fire now," Marcus said. His voice still perfectly calm, the ship's massive guns opened fire into empty space. Energy beams and missiles flew into the asteroid field, hitting nothing but rocks. It seemed like a waste of ammunition. The Vorthak didn't even react to the apparently random shots, but Princess Zarathik was starting to see something. The human wasn't firing at the creatures. He was firing at the asteroids themselves, breaking them into smaller pieces, creating debris clouds in specific locations. "Emergency stop, now," Marcus ordered. The ship slammed to a halt so suddenly that everyone grabbed onto something for support. In space, several of the Vorthak pack overshot their target, carried forward by their own momentum. For just a moment, their perfect formation was broken, and that's when Marcus struck. "Full power to engines, course 290, Marcus said. His voice stayed calm while chaos erupted around them. The celestial Fang shot forward through the debris cloud he had created. Princess Zarathik watched in amazement as their ship moved through a gap that seemed impossible to navigate. Marcus had calculated the exact position where the Vorthak formation would be weakest, but the apex hunters adapted quickly. They regrouped and began pursuing the ship through the asteroid field. Their natural camouflage flickered on and off as they moved between rocks. One moment, Zarathik could see them on the screen. The next, they vanished completely. "They're trying to surround us again," Vexstar reported. His crystal body was still flashing red with panic. "I see them," Marcus said. He was studying multiple screens at once, tracking movement patterns that others couldn't even detect. "Helm, reduce speed by 40%. "Sir, that will let them catch up to us," the pilot protested. "That's the point. Weapons, target the large asteroid at Mark 447. Fire everything we have." The ship's guns opened fire on a massive rock floating ahead of them. The asteroid exploded in a shower of debris. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then Zarathik understood. The explosion created a cloud of dust and rock fragments that spread outward in all directions. "The debris is disrupting their camouflage," she whispered. "Correct," Marcus said. "Their adaptive skin works well against solid backgrounds, but it can't match constantly moving particles." Now the Vorthak were visible as they moved through the dust cloud. Their perfect camouflage flickered and failed, revealing their positions. The crew could finally see what they were fighting. Marcus didn't waste the opportunity. "All weapons, concentrated fire on the creature at position 7 Mark III. "That's their pack leader. How can you tell?" Zarathik asked. "Watch their movement patterns. The others adjust their positions based on that one's actions. It's making the tactical decisions." The ship's weapons focused on a single Vorthak that looked identical to all the others. But Marcus was right. As soon as the concentrated fire began, the other creatures changed their formation to protect their leader, the targeted. Vorthak dodged the energy beams with incredible speed. Its 6 legs pushed off floating asteroids, changing direction in ways that seemed impossible. But Marcus had predicted this too. Secondary batteries, fire at positions mark 551 through 559. "Don't aim where it is, aim where it's going to be." The weapons officers hesitated for a moment, then followed his orders. Energy beams filled the space ahead of the dodging creature. It flew directly into the trap Marcus had set. The Vorthak let out a sound like screaming. Metal as the energy weapons tore through its body, the pack leader was wounded but not dead. It retreated behind a large asteroid, leaving traces of strange dark blood floating in space. But something had changed. The other Vorthak seemed confused without their leader's constant guidance. Marcus pressed his advantage. "Helm, course 180. Weapons prepare kinetic rounds." "Kinetic rounds, sir?" The weapons officer sounded confused. "Those are primitive projectiles. They won't hurt the Vorthak." "They're not meant to hurt them," Marcus said. "Fire kinetic rounds at the asteroid cluster in Sector 12. Pattern Delta." The ship launched dozens of simple metal projectiles at high speed. They struck the asteroids and shattered them into thousands of small pieces. The debris spread outward like a slow-motion explosion. Zarathik watched the tactical display and slowly began to understand what the human was doing. He wasn't just fighting the Vorthak. He was reshaping the entire battlefield. Each explosion, each debris cloud, each change of course was part of a larger plan. The Vorthak pack tried to regroup. But Marcus had divided the asteroid field into sections where their superior speed and coordination became liabilities. When they moved as a group, they became predictable. When they separated, they lost their advantage. 3 creatures moving to flank us from the port side, Vexstar reported. "Let them come," Marcus said. "Helm, hold course and speed. Weapons stand by." Princess Zarathik wanted to order evasive action, but she forced herself to trust her advisor. On the screen, she could see 3 Vorthak approaching from the left side. They moved with deadly grace, clearly planning to attack the ship's vulnerable sections. "Weapons, fire spread pattern gamma into Sector 15, Marcus ordered. Again, he was firing at empty space. But this time, Zarathik saw the result immediately. The energy beams struck asteroids behind the approaching Vorthak. The explosions created a wall of debris that cut off their retreat. The 3 creatures found themselves trapped between the ship's weapons and the debris field Marcus had created. They tried to change direction, but they were moving too fast. One by one, the ship's guns picked them off. "How are you doing this?" Zarathik asked. Marcus glanced at her for a moment. "Persistence hunting. My ancestors used to chase animals across continents until they collapsed from exhaustion. The prey was always faster and stronger, but humans were more patient." "This isn't a continent," she said. "This is 3-dimensional space combat. Same principles apply. Track the prey, predict its movement, cut off its options. Eventually, even the strongest predator makes a mistake." On the screen, the remaining Vorthak were becoming desperate. Their pack coordination was breaking down as Marcus separated them into smaller groups. Each group found itself facing superior firepower with limited room to maneuver. One creature tried to ram the ship directly. Marcus calmly ordered a course change that sent it flying past their hull. As it passed, every weapon on the starboard side opened fire at point-blank range. The Vorthak's body came apart in the vacuum of space. Another tried to hide behind a large asteroid and wait for an opportunity to ambush them. Marcus had the ship fire on the asteroid's far side, using the explosion to push it into a different asteroid. The crushing impact left nothing but debris, one by one. The galaxy's ultimate predators were being hunted by a species they had never encountered. Princess Zarathik watched her human advisor systematically destroy creatures that had terrified civilizations for thousands of years, and he was doing it with the same calm expression he wore when filing reports. Only 3 Vorthak remained alive, including their wounded pack leader. They had retreated to a cluster of large asteroids where the ship's big guns couldn't reach them effectively. But they weren't running away. Princess Zarathik could see them on the sensors, regrouping for one final attack. "They're planning something," Commander Vextar said. His crystal body flickered nervously. "Vorthak never give up. They'll keep fighting until they win or die." Marcus studied the tactical display. The 3 remaining creatures were moving in a complex pattern among the asteroids. Their injured leader seemed to be giving them new instructions. "They're adapting," Marcus said quietly. "Learning from our tactics. Is that bad?" Zarathik asked. "It's what I would do." The pack leader suddenly shot out from behind an asteroid, moving faster than anything had a right to move in space. But instead of heading for the ship, it was coming straight for the bridge. Zarathik realized with horror that it planned to tear through the hull and kill the command crew directly. "All weapons. Fire on that creature," she ordered, but the Vorthak leader had learned from watching its pack die. It dodged and weaved between the energy beams, using pieces of debris as shields. Its adaptive camouflage flickered constantly, making it hard to track. In seconds, it would reach the ship's hull. "Evacuate the bridge," Vextar shouted. "Emergency bulkheads." But Marcus didn't move from his station. Instead, he did something completely unexpected. He opened the communications channel. "Human to Vorthak leader," he said calmly. "I want to talk." The creature stopped moving. It hung in space just a few hundred meters from the ship, its glowing eyes fixed on the bridge. For the first time since the battle began, it held perfectly still. "Marcus, what are you doing?" Zarathik whispered. "Something my people are good at," he replied. "Talking to predators." The Vorthak leader tilted its massive head. It was clearly intelligent enough to understand human speech. When it spoke, its voice came through the ship's speakers like grinding metal. "You hunt my pack," it said. "You kill my children. Why do you stop to talk?" "Because I respect you," Marcus said. "You're the apex predator of this galaxy. You've earned the right to a conversation before you die." The creature's eyes flared brighter. "Before I die? You think you can kill me, soft thing?" "Yes," Marcus said simply. "Just like I killed the others." Princess Zarathik held her breath. Was the human insane? He was threatening a creature that could tear apart starships with its bare claws. But something strange was happening. The Vorthak leader wasn't attacking. It was listening. "You fight like no prey I have hunted," the creature admitted. "Your tactics are unusual." "That's because I'm not prey," Marcus said. "I'm a predator just like you." The Vorthak leader made a sound that might have been laughter. "You, predator? You have no claws, no armor, no speed. You are soft and weak." Marcus stood up from his station and walked to the main view screen. The creature could see him clearly now through the transparent aluminum. He looked tiny compared to the massive alien, but his posture was completely confident. "My species doesn't need claws," Marcus said. "We became the apex predator of our world using something better: intelligence, patience, the ability to never give up." "Every species claims intelligence," the Vorthak leader said. "It means nothing." "Then let me show you," Marcus said. "Look at your pack. Look at how they died." On the tactical display, Marcus replayed the entire battle. He showed how each Vorthak had been separated from the others, trapped in debris fields, forced into positions where their strengths became weaknesses. This was not luck, Marcus continued. Every move was planned. Every trap was set deliberately. I studied your hunting patterns for 30 seconds, and then I hunted you back. The creature's eyes dimmed as it watched its pack die again on the screen. For the first time, it seemed to understand what had really happened. This wasn't a desperate fight for survival. It was a methodical hunt, and the Vorthak had been the prey. Your pack was strong, Marcus said. But strength alone doesn't make you the apex predator. My ancestors hunted creatures 10 times their size, mammoth beasts with tusks like spears, cave bears that could tear a human in half. We killed them all with persistence and planning. The Vorthak leader was silent for a long moment. When it spoke again, its voice was different, quieter, more thoughtful. What happened to these creatures your people hunted? They went extinct, Marcus said. All of them. My species has been the only apex predator on our world for thousands of years. Princess Zarathik watched the creature's body language change. Its aggressive posture shifted to something more defensive. Its glowing eyes began to dim. She was witnessing something impossible, a Vorthak backing down from a fight. You would hunt my remaining pack, the creature said. It wasn't a question. Yes, Marcus replied. And eventually I would win. You know this now? The pack leader looked at the ship, then at the 2 remaining Vorthak hiding among the asteroids. For a moment, Zarathik thought it would attack anyway. These creatures were legendary for fighting to the death, but instead, the impossible happened. The Vorthak leader opened its mouth and made a low, mournful sound. It was a call that echoed through space, reaching its surviving pack members. The 2 other creatures emerged from hiding and moved toward their leader, but instead of preparing for a final attack, they arranged themselves in a formation Zarathik had never seen before. The pack leader was in front, but its head was lowered. Its claws were retracted. Its whole body showed submission. Pack retreat, the creature said. You are apex. We yield territory. Marcus nodded once. Safe travels, hunter. The 3 Vorthak turned and moved away from the ship. They didn't flee in panic like prey animals. They withdrew with dignity, like warriors acknowledging a superior opponent. In minutes, they had disappeared into the asteroid field. The bridge was completely silent. Everyone stared at Marcus as he calmly returned to his station and began shutting down the weapon systems. That's impossible, Vexstar whispered. Vorthak don't retreat. They never surrender. They didn't surrender, Marcus said. They recognized a superior predator and yielded territory. It's what any intelligent hunter would do. Princess Zarathik felt something cold settle in her stomach. She was beginning to understand what Marcus really was. What humanity really was. How many worlds has your species conquered? She asked quietly. Marcus looked up from his console. His expression was the same calm mask he always wore, but now it seemed different. Now it looked like the face of something that had never been prey. We haven't conquered any worlds, Your Highness, he said. We've been too busy learning about all of you. 3 days after the encounter with the Vorthak, Princess Zarathik sat in her private chamber staring at a data screen. She had been reading files about humans for hours, and each new piece of information made her more uncomfortable. The official reports were simple. Earth was a small planet in the outer rim. Humans joined the Empire 50 years ago as a mining and agricultural world. They supplied metals and food to other planets. They seemed grateful to be part of galactic civilization, but Zarathik was reading between the lines now, and she didn't like what she found. Marcus entered her chamber when she called for him. He looked the same as always, calm, unremarkable, patient. But now she saw something else in his dark eyes. Intelligence that ran deeper than she had imagined. I've been reading about your people, she said without looking up from her screen. Oh? Marcus sat down across from her. What have you learned? Interesting things. For example, humans have been involved in 47 military actions since joining the Empire. You've never lost a single battle. We've been fortunate. Fortunate. She finally looked at him. Is that what you call it when primitive kinetic weapons defeat plasma cannons? Marcus didn't respond, so she continued reading from her files. The Battle of Kepler Station. Human advisors helped defend against the Zephyrian invasion fleet. The Zephyrians had superior numbers and technology. They should have won easily. Instead, they suffered total defeat and retreated from the system. The Zephyrians relied too heavily on their technology, Marcus said quietly. They forgot that wars are won by understanding your enemy. The Siege of New Shanghai. Human tactical consultants broke a 3-year siege in 6 weeks. How? Patience and logistics. The enemy was used to quick victories. We simply outlasted them. Zarathik pulled up another file. The Rebellion of the Crystal Moons. Human negotiators ended a violent uprising without firing a shot. The rebel leaders surrendered completely. Why? For the first time, Marcus smiled slightly. We explained the long-term consequences of their actions. Some battles are won before they begin. She closed the files and leaned back in her chair. Every single conflict involving humans ends the same way. Total victory with minimal losses, that's not luck, Marcus. That's systematic dominance. Your Highness seems troubled by our success. I'm troubled because I'm starting to understand what success means to your species. She pulled up a new set of files. I also looked at Earth's natural history. Do you know what I found? Marcus waited silently. Your planet used to have amazing creatures. Giant beasts called elephants and whales. Powerful predators like lions and tigers. Beautiful birds and fish in incredible variety, but most of them are gone now. Extinct or relocated to other worlds. Climate change, Marcus said. Industrial pollution. We made mistakes. No, Zarathik's voice was firm. That's the official story, but the real timeline doesn't match. These creatures started disappearing when humans developed better hunting tools. They vanished when your people spread across the planet. It wasn't climate change, Marcus. It was competition. Marcus's expression didn't change, but she saw something flicker in his eyes. Recognition, maybe. Or approval that she had figured it out. Your species didn't destroy your world's environment, she continued. You conquered it so completely that everything else had to leave or die. Earth didn't have room for 2 apex predators and humanity won. Evolution is a harsh process, Marcus said. Is that what this is? Zarathik gestured around them. Evolution? She pulled up star charts showing human population in the galaxy. 50 years ago, there were 2 billion humans on one planet. Today, there are human communities on 400 worlds. You're spread throughout the Empire, always in small numbers, always in important positions, Marcus nodded. We adapt well to different environments. You're studying us. The realization hit her like a physical blow, all of you. Every human in the Empire is gathering information about alien species, alien technology, alien tactics. You're learning our weaknesses. Knowledge is useful, Marcus admitted. The Vorthak recognized you, she said. They saw something in you that made them retreat. What did they see? Marcus was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was thoughtful. They saw a persistence hunter, he said. A species that doesn't give up? Ever, we may not be the fastest or strongest, but we will follow our prey across continents, across centuries if necessary. We will learn everything about them. Their habits, their fears, their weaknesses. And when we finally strike, it will be at exactly the right time and place. Are we prey, Marcus? That depends. On what? On whether you become a threat to humanity's survival. The simple honesty of his answer was more terrifying than any threat could have been. Princess Zarathik realized she was looking at the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Not because they were violent, but because they were patient. How long? She asked. How long have you been planning this? Planning what, Your Highness? Whatever comes next. Conquest? Domination? The end of the Empire? Marcus stood up and walked to her chamber's window. Outside, space stretched endlessly in all directions. Thousands of worlds, trillions of beings, all unaware that they might be living on borrowed time. Humans don't think in terms of conquest, he said. We think in terms of survival. For 50 years, we've been learning whether the galaxy is safe for our species, whether we can coexist with other intelligent life. And what have you decided? Marcus turned back to face her. For a moment, his calm mask slipped, and she saw something ancient and patient in his eyes. Something that had been hunting since before civilization began. "We're still deciding," he said, after Marcus left. Princess Zarathix sat alone in her chamber and tried to process what she had learned. Humanity had spent 5 decades infiltrating every level of galactic society. They knew the military capabilities of every species. They understood the political weaknesses of every government. They had studied the psychology of alien minds and found ways to defeat enemies without fighting, and they were still deciding whether the galaxy was worth keeping. She thought about the Vorthak pack leader, backing away from a creature 1/10 of its size. She thought about the fear in her crew's eyes when they faced the ultimate predators of space. She thought about Marcus, calmly giving orders while everyone else panicked. For the first time in her life, Princess Zarathix wondered if being royalty meant anything at all. How do you rule over subjects who might be pets? How do you command respect from a species that could end your civilization with a thought? Outside her window, the stars looked different now. Each one might hold a human colony. Each one might be another outpost in humanity's slow, patient conquest of the galaxy. The apex predators were already here. They had been here all along, watching and waiting and learning. And when they finally decided that coexistence was impossible, the galaxy would discover what it meant to be hunted by Earth's children. The scariest part wasn't that humanity might destroy everything. The scariest part was that they might not. They might simply keep them all as interesting specimens in the zoo of space, never quite understanding that they had stopped being free.